Today we're taking an early look at Durin. I meant to do this alongside the character buffs, but that took so much time I figured it would be better to separate them. So I just read through his main kit. It is quite a lot to absorb straight away, so I want to boil that down first before we move on to passives. Basically, after pressing E, you can either press E again or do a normal attack to enter different states. These two states are Purity and Darkness, and this kind of follows him to his burst, where depending on which state he's in, he will do a Purity or Darkness burst. What I can tell so far is Purity does less damage, but has a bigger AoE, so for AoE situations, and then Dark does more damage, but is single target. I assume the passives make that less simple, so I'm going to go through those now. So White Flame, the lower damage, bigger AoE form, can reduce Pyro Res and the element which triggers one of these reactions. Notably, there's no Vaporize or Melt in there. And then Dark Decay, higher damage, single target focused, increases Durin's Vaporize and Melt damage. So one is Durin support focused, one is Durin DPS focused. When it comes to his A4 passive, it does not matter which form he's in, it does the same thing. It is a stack system, what I assume is an additive damage increase, specifically for these multipliers here, the attacks that sort of happen by themselves after his burst. The damage buff to these attacks is based on his attack. I accidentally stopped recording when I went to pull up a calculator to see how much attack he needs to max out the bonus. It's 2,500 by the way. I was yapping away for like half an hour before I realized. But anyway, one really interesting thing with this passive, unlike most additive damage buffs that get, a stack consumed per hit on an enemy, when these White Flame or Dark Decay attacks hit multiple enemies, only one stack is consumed. In most other cases, every damage number you see pop up is a stack consumed. It would be nice to know what periodically means in this context. How often are these attacks actually attacking? Because you're only going to get 10 buffed attacks. With a 20-second duration and an 18-second cooldown, if they attack every 2 seconds, that would actually be kind of perfect, I suppose. Anyway, let's go ahead and do this now. We're just going to do E, normal attack burst, and look at the dark ones here. So let's see. Oh. They actually attack pretty fast, I think. I will have to time that. So from this frame, where his attacks are just about to fire, to the next attack on the same frame is 73 to 74 frames, which means they fire every like 1.2 seconds or something. Just counting them, Durin, during the 20-second duration, fires off 16 of these attacks. So might be more accurate to say every 1.25 seconds. I also do want to see if there's a difference in attack interval between the two, and also the AoE on the white/pure one, whatever. Cool, we do have some enemies here, so we're just going to do E, and then burst. Here we go. Oh yeah, the AoE is actually pretty large. You can see the graphic. It does seem to attack faster as well. Maybe? Upon review, starting from this frame where we see the first line/effect of this attack, until the same frame on his next is 60 frames, or 1 second exactly. So indeed, it is a little faster than the dark mode attacks. And while it was a little harder to count these since they warp around, I was able to see /here 20 procs. Anyway, Durin's also one of the Hexerite characters, and when he's in a party with, one other, his A1 passive gets buffed by 75%, which makes the 20% res reduction jump to 35%, making him a pretty competitive res reducer. It's like around 40%. And then also his Vaporize Melt damage jumps from 40 to 70%. So pretty nice jump there as well. Also, it took me way too long to realize Durin is from Mondstadt. Every Hexerite character is from Mondstadt. That is the theme, which I guess would probably be expanded more on in this quest, which I haven't done yet. So in hindsight, it was a little silly to be like, where's Kaching buff? I just wanted a Kaching buff, but she is not from Mondstadt. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter if I'm on or off field with Durin, so I'll probably just stay on field while we look at all the stuff that's happening. I mean, if we're going to be actually looking at numbers, we should raise his talents. Of course, I'm pretty sure he's another character where the normal attack does not matter at all. Most of his damage is in his burst multipliers, but we'll get his skill up as well. Helps energy regeneration as well. I didn't even see that, to be honest. Sure, well, we'll just get them both to 8. That should be fine. I really don't think there's enough time to ensure we swirl this and then go to like Xingqiu, but we'll try. EE burst. Still trying support here. We'll keep driving Xingqiu's Blade. Okay, there's a little bit of lag on swapping out because of the ping, but then we'll do his burst, EE burst, the support burst, and just keep normal attacking to drive the things there. We also have like Binny's Pyro Infusion, so that helps a little bit. Almost a 1 rotation. I guess that's not horrible considering it's a 4-star team. And I'm sure I could optimize it a bit more. Like, especially his Oblige set is pretty useless since we have one on Binny in this team. Problem is it's super hard to min-max anything when all the artifacts are like the same. I was thinking going Gilded Dreams, but they're all EM main stats. So that's E, normal attack, and burst. We'll just see what that does. I mean, definitely some more damage there. And the things that come out definitely come out slower. We got like a 67. So here we go again. I think that should have vaporized. We're just going to stay on field with him attacking. Unfortunately, Binny's boost, I don't know. All the buffs here are kind of short, so I'm not sure what to do first. Still, though, seems to consistently be more damage than light mode, which makes sense because there's not really a DPS in this team. Okay, I'm just going to restart everything. Just for context, I'll probably throw in some clips of me struggling to understand what the hell's going on. But for the last hour, I've been trying to figure out how I can both show dark and light mode as we go up from C0 to C6, his more support side and his more personal damage focus side. And I just couldn't figure out a good solution. Maybe this changes later on in his constellations, but right now, his support side, his light side sounds way more interesting and, you know, more meaningful than his dark side, mainly with his A1 passive and the ability to reduce res. So for today, we're going to be focusing on support Durin or light mode Durin in an overloaded team because like Melt and Vaporize will not trigger the res reduction. I haven't read through all the constellations yet, but if there is one that really focuses on dark mode, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. All right, here we go. Overloaded is not a team I use very often, so it's very possible I messed something up here, but so we're going to do EE burst for his support mode and then also just swap off to Shogun and do her burst. I mean, yeah, Shogun really strong in an overloaded team. I'm not sure we could see much from Durin there, though. I guess outside of the extra res reduction, you know, letting Shogun hit for more. So let's see. So I'm really going to try and focus on like Shogun's damage, but it's a little hard to see. Maybe just like her first attack there. It's between like 30 and 40k. This will be relevant when we get him to C1, which we're just going to do now because we're going to be here literally for 700 years if we don't. For support mode Durin, the whole team gets 20 stacks, which are counted independently. These scale with Durin's attack. Basically, it will increase the damage the supports do. Dark mode Durin gives the stacks to himself and his burst damage consumes them to increase that. We're going to get it. We're going to see if Raiden's damage increases. I am overwhelmed if you couldn't tell. Okay, here we go. EE burst. That should be support mode. We'll go back to Raiden now and just start doing some attacks. 63. I mean, they are noticeably higher for sure. I'm not sure if we'll be able to see like a 1-to-1 exact comparison because this Raiden is kind of built horribly and there's nothing I can do about it. She has like 40 crit rate, so like half the stuff's not even critically. Also, the ping makes it very hard to see what attack is actually causing what number because it comes like a quarter second later. Post-production Moga is going to have to lift kind of heavy here, I guess. C2 is a 50% element damage bonus when you trigger these reactions. Very similar to his A1 passive, but it doesn't change his A1 passive. This is a separate thing. And it also does include Vaporize and Melt as well here. That seems kind of weird to me because like you still won't be able to trigger the appropriate res reduction by doing Vaporize or Melt, but I guess you will get the 50% element bonus. Pyro plus Electro in our case because we're doing Overloaded. EE burst. Back to Shogun. We'll just look at like the first charge attack. There was 67. I think that was higher than last time. Yeah, both C3 and C4 are purely focused on his burst damage. So I'm not going to do a comparison, but we will try dark mode Durin after getting him to C4 here. But basically C4 is 40% burst damage increase plus a 30% chance he won't use one of the C1 stacks he gives himself if he goes into dark mode. Do you see what I'm dealing with here, dude? Like, it's really not that hard to understand, but to try and actually show it in a meaningful way, what is going on? That's the hard part. We're just going to stay in the overloaded team, but I will do E normal attack Q this time. So E normal attack burst. Boom. We'll just kind of stay on field with him to see what the damage. Oh my God. Okay, wait. Over 100k? Over 100k there? I guess we have gotten like 4 constellations and they're still going. Like we could go to Shogun after that and these will still be firing, of course. But that was pretty impressive. That was more than I was expecting, to be honest. Let me try that again anyway. Boom, overcharge ball. E normal attack burst. And now we're going to go to Shogun. See if that kind of does anything. Yeah, I guess, honestly, we can kind of still compare because we're not getting the constellation support buffs when we don't go into light mode. C5 don't really care. It's his E skill levels. I guess it's okay. He'll get more energy at least, but I don't think the actual damage that comes from this is significant. Oh, okay. So he has defense ignore, just by default on his burst damage at C6. Light mode actually reduces the opponent's defense by another 30%. Everyone else gets a damage buff in this case. And then with dark mode, an additional 40% defense ignore. So 70% total. While I was researching like the level 100 stuff a little bit ago, I learned that you can't apply more than, and I forgot the exact number, but it was between 70 and 80% defense reduction, or rather it doesn't do anything past that point. And I assume the same is true if you're ignoring like more than 80% of an opponent's def. So that's like almost the max here. And damn, def reduction on light mode is kind of insane as well. 30% is pretty big. But anyway, sure, we will try that. We will try and look at both light and dark mode here at C6. All right, here we go. So we're gonna start with support. Just do EE and then go to Shogun and try and look at that charge attack. Boom. That was either over 100 or like nothing critical. Let me do one more. All right, let's try this again here. Charge attack. Oh my God, dude. Now he's just dying too fast. Okay. That was a 290. I will try once more though. That just didn't critical because she's built so bad. E, normal attack burst. Okay, and we're just gonna kind of stay on field with him. Wait, what? Oh, 192, there it is. They do attack quite a bit slower, but yeah, a 192 crit, Jesus Christ. That is a lot higher. It was like 120k or something back at C4. And this time we'll go to Raiden. Oh God, he's almost dead. Okay, yeah, I mean, Durin is for sure doing more damage than Raiden now. I could try and build an entire team around his dark mode. We don't really need a second Hexerai character. We lose a 30% Vaporize Melt buff, but I think it's worth it if we don't have to restrict ourselves to that. Mawika team, but Durin instead. Also, I think support mode for Kenichi might be interesting, but perhaps we will save that for the actual raising mode. I guess the problem in this case is that Durin doesn't really do like a big hit of damage. It's more so sustained damage, so I kind of wouldn't know what to do after bursting with him, but why not just start with his burst in the first place? Moga, as long as it doesn't snapshot, which should be pretty easy to figure out. It lasts long enough that like, I don't know. We'll try it. E, normal, burst. So get all that juicy goodness, get that. See lolly, and then actually I'm gonna go back to dirt. Okay, we need someone harder. I do want to try that again. So E, normal burst, Zealanin, boom, boom. Binny, actually I want to do first, and then oh my God, I'm so slow. E and burst, and then we're gonna go back to Durin and do. I don't know, I guess we could like also do support, but Durin would also have to be on field to take advantage of Binny's boost. That's something I didn't even think about until now. Durin, E, normal, burst. Let's take a look at that damage. Wow, well there was a 426, a 226, and now let's go burst. And to Durin, oh my God, all the other buffs are gone now though. Now it's a 205, so that does become stronger, I think. 172, 107. But I mean, at C6, it's probably worth it just to stand there with him, kind of do nothing. I guess you can normal attack with Binny's, you know, infusion, do a little bit more damage there. I mean, assuming I'm actually onto something here, we're gonna experiment. We're gonna get his normal attack up. Maybe secretly, it actually is kind of good. Probably not. This is not a recommendation. I am just screwing around. We'll get it up to 8. Sure, we're gonna do this. Get his burst. I did support burst. Okay, sure. Let's see what that does. You know, just for fun here. 170. It's still doing so much damage though. What the flip? I mean, I guess all around the team's not doing that much damage. We're at about a quarter of Patapo's HP. Okay, let's try this again. B, Doom. Okay, that's actually burst mode now. Now we go to Binny. Do that. Oh my God. I was finally going to do it once. Okay, there's his attack mode. Oh, please don't kill Binny again. Of course. It doesn't matter. We got his burst off if you can just hurry up. And then we stay on field. Oh, wait. We are doing like 40k normals. That's not horrible, actually. Even so, that's probably not good. We're like taking away any potential melt opportunities. If anything is going to melt, it really should be his ultimate damage. So... in hindsight, yeah, probably not a good idea. So I'm just gonna chill here. Please critical. Please critical one time. Oh my God. He has enough crit rate. I don't get it. I can't anymore. I mean, like, the off-field damage is good, but it's like, even in dark mode, he's not a main DPS. He does a lot of damage, but he's not a main DPS. He's not an on-field. That's the thing I can't seem to wrap my head around. We need an actual on-field. I think we have to get rid of Binny for like Mawika, and then maybe something happens. In fact, if we get rid of Binny, actually everything goes way easier. It's just Durin instead of Binny now. Is Durin better than Binny? I mean, probably at C6. Why is he dead? When did he die? What is going on? Maybe I just can't accept he's meant to like not be in a melt team. I'm going to try a rotation and just pretend Durin is Bennett with support. We are starting with support. Okay, which honestly, I think he just ate Mawika's melt. Actually, no, she's still melted. This Mawika is just built way differently than mine and worse. I will just say worse also. So I guess with that context, you know, of our very limited artifact choices and such, I guess some of the runs we did with Durin were also pretty good. There's like no chance to one rotation with even the C6 Mawika here, I guess. Or probably not no chance, but I apologize. Like I really did try. It is also like a time thing. An early look is kind of pointless when it takes me 2 days to test things and then 3 days to edit. And then by the time I actually get it posted, he's already out. So it's like, what's the point? So it would feel weird to not have any final thoughts, but I'm kind of a little worried about saying anything because I feel like there's almost certainly something I'm overlooking or not thinking about. But yeah, that's also just kind of how early looks go. I became too fixated on trying to show the progression of the C0 to C6 and I had to give up. I think it would have been cool to figure out a way to do that, but I just gave up and we got some constellations and looked at some numbers. Definitely try and have the raising mode a little bit more organized, really learn him better. But until then, feel free to tell me what you think in the comments down below. Dropping a like or subscribing if you enjoyed is always greatly appreciated as well. Thanks as always for watching and until next time.